Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you're doing great. Matt Corvo coming at you live from Montreal, Canada. I'm 26 years old. I've been trading for 5 years now. The last 4 years I was just trading Forex, CFDs, indicators, a lot of smart money concepts, inner circle trader. And at the beginning of this year, at the beginning of 2025, I decided to make the transition from CFDs to futures, and I wanted to start learning about order flow because I was extremely disappointed at where I was in my trading. So I'm basically documenting my learning journey with order flow and volume analysis. As you can see, I trade with footprints, VWAP deviations, volume profile levels, and a heat map too. I don't know if I'm gonna show it to you right here. I have a second screen. So I like to journal recording my screen and talking over it. Of course, I have TradeZilla here, which is a journaling software, but I also like to just do a screen record. We are Thursday, October 30th, 2025. Tomorrow's Halloween. And I just like to analyze the price action that happened during the day, looking at points of reversal, and really study what happened on the footprints. Study the deltas. This is how everybody should acquire experience and screen time with the markets, learning about order flow. So let's get going. Today I did not have a bad day. Today, finally, I didn't have a bad day. It was okay, I would say. So it started with a loss, and then I caught a nice trade here. And this trade I didn't catch, and it's really playing games. It's really playing fucking games. If you look here from freaking, let's move this here. From freaking 950 and now it's 1110, it's just not moving. It's compressing again. So really sucks. Just ES has been really choppy for 2 weeks now. So I would just like to go over the analysis I did before starting my trading session. So as I always say, before I start my trading session, I take a 30 minutes where I do my pre-market game plan, where it's basically I'm looking for economic high impact events that could happen and identify the market conditions, identify my directional bias, looking at different time frames, and I also identify the key levels I want to play from. From that level, I'm looking for buys. From that level, I'm looking for shorts, looking on the footprint for a confirmation. Okay? So today, Thursday, October 30th, we have this tentative. I just don't know what it means, to be honest. That would be interesting to look up. And it says no hours, so that is super weird. I said it doesn't even say the hour. Maybe it has to do with the government shutdown. Perfect. So I identified that the market was obviously compressed in a consolidation. That's pretty obvious. It's clearly not trending. And then if you look at the daily, I said we're taking out the previous daily highs, but the previous daily lows since haven't been taken out. And that gap too. I remember opening on Sunday, I was already selling because I wanted that gap to be filled. And that shows me it's not because you have a gap that it's going to get filled immediately. I mean, it could keep going up and up and up and up. It could keep going up and up and up for days and for weeks until it fills that gap. So it's not an immediate thing. Now I said the 4 hour, it took that swing low here. So it's interesting. Maybe it's going to go up. Maybe it's going to go down. We really don't know. And I think it's irrelevant as a scalper and day trader. Just trying to predict, it's ridiculous. If you're here, you would think, okay, it's going up. But then you see that big wick. It's just really confusing market structure. I really dislike it. Okay, and then I said on the M15, no clear trend, it's consolidating. You know, people trying to make a science out of market structure. Oh, I just find it so. Market structure is so subjective. You can say we are in an uptrend, but not really. It's just, it always depends how much you zoom out, how much you zoom in, where you start. Correct? I don't like looking at market structure, to be honest. Okay, perfect. So let's continue here. I said from the volume profile perspective, we are clearly in a consolidation. And as I was doing my pre-market game plan, actually price completely broke through the overnight profile value area low, and it completely failed, and now I would say that is a very bearish indication. Okay, VAL failing as we speak, might do a break and retest. So that was my scenario basically for the day. I wanted the price to come to that area where we had a swing low, which turned out to be previous day PDL, previous daily low. We also had a 5-minute imbalance. We had some orders here on Bookmap. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so this is what I wrote. At the 68.80 area, I will be looking for a buy opportunity. I will be looking for aggressive sellers to get absorbed by passive buyers on the footprint, and then for aggressive buyers to show up to give me a reversal. And before that, I took a trade while I was doing my notes. There was just a trade opportunity, super simple. We took out this swing low and we reached a 90% VWAP deviation. So right there, I had two confluences. I was looking really for a buy. I was, like I said, looking for aggressive sellers to get absorbed by passive buyers and aggressive buyers to then show up on the prints. I would have probably entered here and I would have put my stop loss under. Because I didn't enter immediately, I would have saved myself a loss, but I eventually had a loss. I just want to show you exactly at what time it was. It's just playing games, man. It's just playing games. It's so annoying. So where was that? Where did I get in? Yeah, it's here. I would argue at 8:31. So let's go at 8:31 on the prints. So we're going to go to this area, but on the footprint, okay? Okay, there you go. So there was even an imbalance on the 1 minute. I was like, okay, lines up with VWAP. Psychological level, 6,900. Took out a big swing low. It could be a nice place for a reversal. So there you go, 8:30. So where did I get in? Yeah, I remember it was an okay entry, to be honest. I was looking really for aggressive sellers to get absorbed. And when I got on the chart, it was here already. I would have entered here, to be honest. This candle, I love it. Trap sellers at the bottom. Big wick. Positive delta. The max and the final delta are the same. I would have really entered here. But then I like to wait for a second candle usually. And then it gave an impulse again and took out that. But then as I said, I like this candle. I like the fact that it went from -87 to -9. Big wick to the downside, but did not really close above the 50%, I imagine. No trap sellers, but kind of like that candle. And here, negative numbers, but the candle turns out green, close above the 50%, but no trap sellers. You see, no trap sellers. This candle had a B shape, if you can see. It had a B shape and a volume tail. Where you see the brighter areas where there's more volume on my footprint. And then I remember I probably entered here when I saw those numbers. And it went immediately in profit. But then it really failed after. I think it came again at... It did really a break and retest of the value area low. Did it? No, not at that time. Not when I was in the trade. You see? Not when I was in the trade. Let's drag it to 9:30. Okay, let's continue here. So eventually I got taken out of that trade. Let's just look on the prints how it looked. If I could have gone to break even. It didn't go enough in profit for me to go at break even, you're right. I like to put my stop loss at break even somewhere when price is in that area maybe. But did not happen. You see, just no follow through. But then this candle like kind of liked. Then this one I didn't like. And then it just completely took me out. Completely took me out. Maybe I could have reduced my stop loss, but sometimes it likes to come here and give a bounce, you know? Anyway, just kept dropping and dropping and dropping all the way to my zone. And even again, it got tricky. You can read it on my notes. Yeah, so I said, fuck, man, 5 minute imbalance plus swing low plus VWAP, and that shit failed. But it is important to look at the digits inside of the imbalance. If you look at this imbalance, this one I wanted to buy from. This was the beginning of it, and small digits. So the digits are really important, and I said, okay, it was a tiny one, lesson learned. Even though I have an imbalance on the 5 minute, but the digits are so small, maybe I'm not gonna take that trade. Okay, so let's continue here. Price consolidating before the cash open craziness at 9:30 a.m. I hate to have my setup at cash open, that is a fact. Because it's just crazy. It starts wicking out everybody. It's not nice. So boom, it started getting into my imbalance here. When it gets into my imbalance on the 5 minute, I like to hone in on the 1 minute, on the footprints. And like I said, I'm looking for a specific thing. Know what you're looking for. I'm looking for aggressive sellers to get absorbed by passive buyers, and then for aggressive buyers to show up. But I said, man, it's not reversing at all. It's going super deep. So I'm here sitting like that imbalance completely failed. Then I'm just looking, and then it was interesting here. So let's come look at it on the footprint. Where was I? Yeah, it was. So I went through my imbalance, and it just kept like crashing, melting. I was like, whoa. I like it when the imbalance. Let me come here on the 5 minute. It's going to be simpler for you. I like it when it comes into the imbalance and it starts reversing right after. But here it came like, how many points? Like, bro, like 14 points. 14 points lower. I was like, I'm not too sure about this. Anyway, I still took the risk. This is what I'm saying. You had super negative. Well, so this is here, okay? This is here. We are at 10. We are at 9:36. Okay, so 5 minutes after cash open, I said, not too bad, not too bad. We have this super negative candle, and you want to see follow through, okay? If you have no follow through, it's giving you an indication that the aggressive sellers are getting absorbed by the passive buyers. So here it really slows down, and you see it by the size of the candles, and it has almost the same volume, almost just 1,000 less, and look at the size of it. So it's telling you something. You start paying attention. You're waiting for your entry. Now this one, even worse. You can see the volume diminishing, but still, it has 2,000 less of volume, but look at the numbers, minus 41 and minus 1,600, almost 1,700. So it's really telling you, okay, something is happening. And then boom, first sign of buyers appearing, but still with negative numbers. And then here, this one, okay, but you're still waiting, You're not entering when you see like the red candles. You want to have positive deltas. You see this, but still there's a big difference between the minimum delta and the final delta. Minus 31, minus 244 to minus 31. So it's telling you a lot of passive buyers are absorbing this sell pressure. You really see the difference. You see, first of all, the volume is somehow diminishing, and then it starts picking up again when you have a reversal, when like new orders are being shifted in the market. And then here it was really my sign. This is where I entered. I saw those super positive numbers. Let me tell you exactly where I entered. It was 68.73. 68.73. I got in somewhere here. Yeah. That was a beautiful trade that shoot up like a rocket. Love those trade. I remember this part was a little bit annoying though. I mean, you see this, but when you're like in the trade, it appears red and stuff. So you're like, is it gonna work? Yeah, I had an imbalance right on top. So came here, that was like a minute of stress. Finally took off. Love that candle. Love this one. But this one again was red. And then where did I close it? I closed it here because there was a level on Bookmap. So this was a nice trade. And then motherfucking price. Like, I'm glad I closed it here. I'm glad I'm not lying. I'm glad I closed it. But then, you know, even when you catch a nice trade, as traders, we are never satisfied. We're like, oh man, it could have. Imagine if I held it, I would have made so much more money. It could have come here. Oops. It could have come all the way here, and look at this, man. So here I had an imbalance. Let me show it to you on the 5-minute. Yeah, this one. You see it? I had this one marked. It's at 69.14. There you go, 69.14. It comes here, and I was like, oh man, imagine I held that trade all the way to the imbalance. And then it did not even touch it. If you look even on the 30 seconds. Oh, where are we? Right. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It did not touch it. The real one was like at 15 if you really zoom in more on the 30 seconds. So I was like, yeah, I mean, that would have sucked so much. Let's say you're all of this in profit. Oops. Freaking two ticks away from getting triggered into your take profit, and look at that. It just reverses completely to the freaking like 50%. Oh my god, that would have been so annoying. So I was kind of glad I got out of the trade. And then this whole choppiness is just ugly. But then price, there was somehow a level here on Bookmap. Price gave a reaction off of it. I said maybe it's going to come back, and no. Sellers really present. Price really found its area of fair value. Buyers and sellers agree on where's price, and this is fair value. So it's going to consolidate, and then after, it's basically efficient price action, even though for us it's pure ugliness. But so remember, the market is here to facilitate the transactions between buyers and sellers. So if it consolidates, they're happy. They're exchanging orders, they're filling their orders. This is basically the premise of auction market theory, AMT. So basically, after it consolidates for a while, it will go into market inefficiency and it will start trending again. It came here, reacted to this, and then there was another level here, 150. And this was perhaps, and I love this level. You know why? 5-minute imbalance plus 188. Let's have a look right now if it has been updated on the book. Yeah, those numbers those orders are still there, but you got like 160 now. 160. Alrighty, let's continue here. Yeah, so here I wouldn't say I missed an entry, and even though like I would have targeted obviously this high, and I would have been in a really shitty trade for what, an hour now, and I'm a scalper because I go on the 30 seconds. But I just want to break down this one. I think it was legit. Maybe if you close it here, but me, I would have closed it here, honestly. We've got this imbalance which acts as a magnet, plus those sell limit orders here on the ask. It's supposed to be a magnet, and somehow price is just fucking around. So let's come here, 1028. I'm in the 1 minute here. Okay, 1028. Right, so there was an imbalance lining up with VWAP, lining up with 150 sell limit orders. Do you know what I've been noticing? VWAP, sometimes it works. Not just because it's VWAP, it's because institutions are placing their orders and exiting their orders at VWAP, basically. Let me put it here. VWAP is volume weighted average of price, VWAP. VWAP is being created because of volume. It's not volume that follows VWAP. I don't know if that makes sense somehow. There are a lot of orders being executed here, 6902. Yeah, I'm gonna try to download Bookmap on my computer, but the thing is, it takes up so much RAM. I'm fearing my computer will start lagging so much. But yeah, let's continue here. Okay, so basically, I did not take that trade because there was not a 5-minute imbalance, but there was a buy here. So super negative candle, and then boom, you got this one here. Okay, zero follow through. It's got pretty much the same volume, and look at the size. Big difference. Plus this one closes above its 50%, really positive candle, but still the negative deltas. So you're still waiting. You somehow notice something is going on at this low. Something is happening. Then you have this candle, first green deltas. So you could have entered here, but like I said in my previous videos, sometimes reversals, they're messy. You rarely have a clean reversal like this. It's almost never like this, especially if you zoom in on the lower time frames. It's usually boom, I think I would enter here, I got my confirmation, and then boom, it goes immediately and draw down, and boom. Okay, so this is exactly what happened here at the 10:30 low. So you get this one, not looking super good for the buyers, but it's because they're getting absorbed by this imbalance here. Comes lower. I like that. Minus 247 to 164. I like this candle. I want to see follow through. Boom, I'm not even getting it. So this is why I'm saying it's somehow tricky. It's ugly. Now this is where it's more picture perfect. Super negative candle, trap sellers under, zeros at the bottom, wick under, not a big one. Okay, but then you're really looking for, okay, I'm liking this, I'm liking this. Are the sellers going to have follow through? Are the sellers going to be able to bring this lower? And then you have this new candle here where you have imbalances. And then right of the imbalances, you could have entered at 68.90. Yeah, 68.90. And this would have been a nice trade, obviously targeting that high, but it doesn't look like price wants to hit that. And just imagine you're here, you go break even, and then it would have taken you out. Maybe it came to fill up those imbalances, as a matter of fact. Or those imbalances are what protected price. But just a super annoying trade, if you ask me. Super annoying. Kind of trade that makes you hate trading. I hope you like that video. And yes, basically with my order flow learning journey, I am trying to put all of the pieces of the puzzle together. VWAP deviations, volume profile levels, footprint, heat map. Those are the main four, I would say. The DOM is not useful because the heat map and the footprint are a visual representation of it. The time in sales is not super good. I mean, it's just you just want to see the pace of the orders. And then really the other thing I want to add is the cumulative volume delta for divergence, and also, but I'm already looking at deltas on the footprint, and I also want to look at big trades. So those are pretty much what's missing, but yeah, I already have a great edge. I understand why price moves from that point to that point, from that point to that point. So it's becoming less and less of a mystery for me. I really think it's not that random when you look at order flow and you're good at reading it with experience. But yeah, basically, this is why I like to do this journaling session, recording my screen and talking over it, because I'm learning a lot of stuff, and hopefully you guys can get some value from it. All right, guys, cheers.